Welcome to Chaos. In today's video, I had planned to review these Mont watercolor markers and compare them to the only other watercolor markers I have, which were the Grabby markers from the subscription box of the same name, and to see how they compare. What ended up happening was I learned a lot about myself as an artist, and trying to be as honest and legit as I can and showing a true journey, I thought I would share it with you. Now, we started off all well and good. These markers were purchased for me by my mom. She saw how much I enjoyed the Grabby markers, and in the comments of that video, I found out that watercolor markers, should be a lot juicier and come out with a lot more ink. Is that the right word for a watercolor marker? Ink. That's the only term I can sort of think of that works. But it should have a lot more flow, which the Grabby markers didn't. But I did enjoy working with them. So Mom picked these up for me and thought that I could review them on the channel, which was really, really sweet of her, and I super duper duper appreciate it. Now, as you can see, these markers are not the best. They do not wet very well, and they absolutely do not go on wet. Putting them down on top of wet is a terrible idea. As using them as actual markers, they could work decently, but if that is the case, you would just buy regular markers and then they would be cheaper. From the Mont brand, they would be cheaper. There is a bit of a cost hike when you add the supposed working with watercolor, or working with water, activating them in water. That really isn't true. It doesn't actually work too well. It's a bit sad. The best way I found to work with these markers was to scribble it out on this glass chopping board that I am using as a palette, and then apply it to the paper. Now, when directly comparing it to the Grabby watercolor markers, I used the exact same paper that came in that subscription box and a very similar style of art, using the fruit in similar colors, trying to get all the colors there to do as best direct comparison as possible. Same paper, same style of art, and to see how they line up, how a cheap Australian brand compares to a cheap overseas brand. But very quickly became apparent that I was feeling quite impatient, and I did not want to wait and let things dry properly. Very, very quickly, I realized that I didn't enjoy working with these markers. They were difficult to use, and they were not a lot of fun. And I think I've said repeatedly on this channel, I am here to have fun. And so not enjoying these quickly led to me wanting this drawing just to be done. So I could be done with it, move on to the next thing. But these markers do not lift very well at all. Once they are down, they are pretty staining, which again is a bit annoying with watercolor. And this paper I'm using may not be the best. It came in the subscription box without any sort of description on its makeup, so it could just be textured cellulose paper, but I didn't have much problem using the Grabby watercolor markers on it, and they were a lot more lifting and easier to work with. But yeah, overall combination of the not the best products and user error led to what feels like quite a disastrous image in the end. But I wanted to share that, so anyone is subscribed and is enjoying my content, you can sort of see we are all in the same boat. We don't all start really, really good and working really, really well. Like, you see so many times these fantastic YouTubers, artists on YouTube showing off these amazing drawings that they do with these products. And if you're anything like me, you're like, am I ever going to be able to be that good? And maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just keep doing it for fun and just keep working towards it. And one day we'll see a vast improvement. But until then, I wanted to show the mess we make along the way. I want to try and be real here and be real with my audience, who I am super, super appreciative of. And I'm super appreciative of everyone that is subscribed to me and comments and likes my videos. It's kind of crazy to think that there are people out there who enjoy watching me create. And I hope this does not put you off and make you never want to watch me again because you've seen how bad I can be. But do be warned, I am hoping to tackle my very large watercolor collection that has just been collected over the years and has not been touched in a while very soon. I think it's going to be some of my first videos in the new year, which is crazy to think how close we are to the new year. It's kind of sickening. But hopefully I will learn the art of patience and tackle things a little bit better for any future watercolor endeavors. But for now, you can see the different ways that these markers just are difficult to apply, to move around, and I would not recommend them. I do not think that they are worth the money. I do believe they were only, I think they were $15 my mom got them for, but I'm not exactly sure. She purchased them for me, which is very, very sweet of her, and I super duper appreciate them. And I am glad that I can show it to you so you know. And if Mont is where you are, don't get their watercolor markers, or do. I'm not gonna control you. I don't think these are very good. I would not recommend them even for kids, which is sometimes what I do. I think some art supplies are really great if they're geared towards children. These ones are just a mess. They work well as markers, but like I said, you can get textures far cheaper that work just the same, but trying to use them with water is quite difficult, and it's not much fun. There's a side-by-side comparison. I do definitely prefer the Grabby or Graby, but I wouldn't buy them from Grabby. You can buy a lot of their stuff significantly cheaper on AliExpress or the like, but yeah, that is just something that you should be aware of. Overall, though, I do think there are much, much better watercolor markers out there that I will come across in time. But these are not it. I don't think they're the best. I don't even think they're very good. And if nothing else, I hope you have learnt that, and that, we are all pretty messy. And you can see how quickly that paper is starting to pill, so that's a bit of the paper's fault as well. So yeah, user error, technical error, craft error. It was all a bit of a disaster, this video. I still hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. And if nothing else, just take it for what it is. We all make mistakes, and maybe we should share that more. share all our mistakes and be more real with each other. Now, I did do another one on the back just to try. Took a bit more time, a bit more patience, but I didn't film it to take that pressure off. So the art is a lot better, but they're still not good markers. But no, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If I'm lucky, I will see you in the next one. But yeah, bye!